Welcome to No Silver Spoons, the podcast that tells it like it is when it comes to leadership, business, and building something real. Now in its third season, this show is hosted by Sarah Beth Herman, a 5-time CEO who's built 5 personal brands, making over 8 figures while staying for the communities she served. Why no silver spoons? Because in leadership, no one hands you success on a platter. There's no shortcut, no easy pass, and definitely no silver spoon. It takes grit, intentionality, and showing up as the core version of you. This podcast is about what happens when you put in the work and take ownership of your path. When you decide to build it step by step, no excuses. Every week, you'll get tools, stories, and fresh perspectives to keep you moving toward the results you want. You'll walk away with clarity and focus on what actually moves the needle without the fluff. And with Sarah Beth's sharp insight, infectious energy, and no-nonsense approach, you'll remember why you're here: to lead, to grow, and to make it happen. So buckle up. This isn't just another podcast. This is No Silver Spoons. Let's get to work. Now, here's your host, Sarah Beth Herman.
Hey everybody, welcome back to No Silver Spoons. I'm Sarah Beth Herman and your host on today's episode. I've been thinking about this episode for a while. I've been through a lot of challenges and changes across my businesses and brands over the last 5 years. And I've learned a lot about myself as a leader, who I don't want to be, the company I want to run. And I swear to you, all of the things that I run through my mind about, I swear to you, I just change constantly. It's like who I thought my businesses were going to be, my brands were going to be, who I was going to be as a leader. That person 15 years ago is totally different than the person today. And so even though sometimes I talk about leadership when I'm standing in front of a crowd, or I'm in a meeting with friends, or I'm meeting with clients, all of the ways I speak about it is who I am in that moment and what I've learned up until that moment. The conversations I've been having lately have been beautiful, wonderful, and interesting all at the same time. This episode is not going to be about blaming others or staying stuck in resentment. But this episode is going to be about shining a light on the subtle ways that negative people shape our journey without us even realizing it. And maybe that's something that you've been wrestling with because you know you've got a few people in your corner, in your circle, in your work environment that are just negative and it's just not working out and you don't know how to get past it. Or maybe you don't even realize the negative people in your world. But I want to help you see things a little differently. You know that feeling when you look back and you realize, wow, I was carrying so much more than I should have been carrying. That's what we're talking about. If you've ever kept someone around just because you liked them, you thought they were a good employee that was going to stick with you, stick by your side, you thought their personality was really nice. You thought, wow, they really work hard in XYZ area, so they'll do everything I need in ABC eventually. Or if they just won't do it, I'll just do it. And it's not going to matter because I think I need to keep them around because of blank. You're not alone. I know that slowly they have chipped away at your peace and your progress, and it's time for us to start recognizing those patterns and those behaviors together. And so today, I want to share a few things that are deeply personal to me, but I hope it feels like I'm sitting beside you saying, I see you. I've been there. I've been right here. And it doesn't have to be this way. There was a time that I had people in my company that I genuinely loved. Not just liked, but I loved them with my whole entire soul. I saw something in them, and I convinced myself that they were essential for me. I needed them to fill a role, a gap I didn't want to face alone. So I overlooked things. Things like underhanded comments, nervous laughs on conference calls, little remarks that made me question my worth without even realizing it. Things that put intrinsic thoughts in my mind that were so unhealthy, but these people were single-handedly putting them there, and I was allowing it. They'd say things like, I just can't do that, or that's not really my thing. And instead of me confronting them, I would just take it on myself. I told myself I was strong and I can handle it. I was made for this. This is my business. Step up to the plate. But what I was really doing was cleaning up messes that should have never been made for me. I was doing work they refused to do while quietly believing I needed them more than they needed me. Looking back, I know now that if someone isn't willing to take the hard calls, stand in the fire with you, do the work that seemingly no one else wants to do, call it janitor work, they don't belong in your vision. And this isn't about being harsh. It's about learning to be honest with your brand. And that honesty is what sets you free and builds something sustainable. And if this feels familiar, I want you to hear me. Your peace is not too high a price to protect. And carrying the weight of others who choose not to carry their own isn't noble. It's draining. There's actual research that backs up what many of us feel in our gut. A study out of the University of Michigan found that negativity in the workplace lowers productivity and collaboration by up to 40%. Let that sink in for just a minute. 40%. It doesn't just ruin your vibe, it actually rewires how your team functions. And Barbara Fredrickson's work in the broaden and build theory shows how positive emotions expand our creativity and problem solving. Negativity? Well, it shrinks our minds into survival mode. And survival mode isn't where creativity lives. Think about how many times you've felt stuck, tired, overwhelmed, and then realized you've been surrounded by people constantly telling you why it won't work. Not in a direct way, but through tone, size, silence, or even disinterest. And that wears on you. Not overnight, but slowly. And it's that slow erosion that does the most damage. You deserve a work environment that lifts your brain, not one that crushes your belief on what's actually possible. And it doesn't matter how much money you make in that job, it still isn't worth it. I know so many men and women who have conversations with me daily that they stay in a job for the money. Why are you staying in a job for the money if everything around you is making your world miserable? You're somewhere 5 days a week so that you can have 2 days of freedom? What are you doing? Get out there, find something better. And if you can't find something better and you want to stay where you're at, demand the change that you wish to see. If this is the path you want to be on, stake a claim for what you want to be right. Stake a claim for what you want to be different. Choose to change your environment and be the change maker. You don't have to run to another job. You don't have to run to build a new company, but you do need to run to protect yourself. So whatever that run looks like, whatever that marathon is, make sure it works for you. As a CEO, I've learned this. If someone doesn't want to do the hard, monotonous, and unglamorous work, they're not the right person for your business. And it's not because I don't want to do those things. I have been doing those things. I started the brands. I started the business. I worked my way up from the very bottom. I've done all the hard and monotonous things, and I've gained my way to a new level playing field, a new level of responsibilities. And so as I bring people in my organization, I have to have people who actually want to do the hard work. And it's not, again, not because I don't want to do it, but it's because I need people who are willing to do the work alongside me, who aren't just asking me to do the hard work alone, but are willing to do it with me so we can get to the greater end goal. The people who move your vision forward are the ones willing to get in the trenches without needing an applause for it. Now, I will admit, it's very hard to find people like this. Very hard. You're not just going to read a resume and someone says, "I like to get in the trenches with you." You're not going to walk up to a business professional who wants to be in business with you, and they're not just going to promise you all of the perfect things and then live up to it. You have to learn to be a leader who is a change maker, who understands what skills and necessities must be instilled in this other person in order for them to work well with you. Now, that person's decision to align with you is all on them. If they can't get in alignment, they gotta go. But if they can get in alignment, keep them there. They're here for the long haul. These have been very hard-earned lessons for me. I used to think my strength was in doing everything myself. If I just worked harder, I could cover everyone's gaps. But that thinking, it has nearly broken me many, many times. You can't grow when you're babysitting dysfunction. And what I had to realize, and maybe what you might need to hear, is that delegation is not weakness. It is leadership. It is saying, I trust you to take this call, to handle this client, to solve this issue. And when someone shows you that they can't, or they won't, or they're hemming and hawing about having to, you have a choice. You can pick up the slack again, or you can hold the line and choose people who will rise to the standard your vision deserves. Let me be clear. The right people will never make you feel bad for holding them accountable. Let's just repeat that one more time. The right people will never make you feel bad for holding them accountable. So write that on a sticky note, put it on your monitor, add it to the wallpaper on your cell phone, whatever you got to do, but don't forget that. Negativity doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, and it looks like nervous laughter when they're called out, yes, but in every conversation, passive digs dressed up as jokes, a constant pattern of needing more time, more training, more support, more questions all the time, even quiet resistance to your growth. It took me years to realize that some people are addicted to drama, to being the victim, or to never being the solution. And their presence in your business or your company or your organization becomes this invisible weight. You don't owe anyone a front row seat to your dreams just because they've been around for a while. Loyalty without alignment is a trap. You don't have to actually scream to be heard. You don't have to be cold to be clear. Here are a few ways I've practiced being assertive without being disrespectful. This task needs to be completed by Friday. What resources do you need from me to make that happen? Let's focus on what we can do, not why we can't do it. This isn't aligned with our best practices, so let's adjust. We need to be solution-focused, not problem-centered. I want you to learn to speak with kindness, but stand with clarity. You don't owe softness to someone who keeps cutting corners. And if confrontation scares you, I want you to ask yourself, what does it cost me to stay silent? Because the longer you wait, the heavier things get. We've covered a lot in today's episode. I want to give you your That's Good moment, the time of our episode where we go through just a quick recap on what we learned and what I want you to take with you. Let's take a breath and ground ourselves in this truth. You are not overreacting if something feels off. Trust that. Negative people often come wrapped in charm. Delegating isn't giving up control, it's owning your role. You are allowed to want peace in your business and in your brand. You are not responsible for someone else's refusal to grow. If you've been dragging your feet on a hard conversation, this is your sign. You don't have to carry it all, and sometimes the thing that feels like loss is actually your biggest gain. If this episode stirred something in you today, you're not alone. You're not too sensitive. You're not dramatic. You're just done settling for less. And if you're feeling alone in your business or your organization, I want you to know that you're not too far gone to reach out. My first call is always complimentary. We can talk. You can tell me your story. You don't have to figure it out alone. And yes, I do offer different ways to work together, but the first step is just a conversation on the house with me. And if that's not in your season right now, I want you to keep showing up here. Keep coming back to our episodes here at No Silver Spoons. This podcast is a space for you. This is me giving you what I wish someone had given me: honesty, clarity, and permission to want better. Because no one hands you a manual when you start a business. No one hands you a manual when you become a manager or a leader, or you start working, or become a CEO. No one prepares you for how people can wound you with a smile, or how leadership can feel like isolation. But you don't have to walk this road alone. I see you, I believe in you, and I promise you, what's ahead is worth it. Until next time, I'm Sarah Beth Herman, and I hope today brought you a little more strength, a little more clarity, and a lot more peace. I'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us in another episode of No Silver Spoons, powered by Dentistry Support. Remember, success doesn't come with shortcuts, and leadership doesn't come with a silver spoon. It's built on hard work, intentional action, and the decision you make every day to keep moving forward. If you're ready to connect or join the conversation, text us using the link in the show notes or visit sarahbethherman.com for more. And while you're there, don't miss our digital library, packed with tools to help you keep growing and leading with purpose. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, and know this, you've got everything it takes. We'll see you next time on No Silver Spoons.